Good evening. You're now with me, Radzi Ahmad, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. Sarawak is ramping up innovation to confront climate change and its vast, complex peatland terrain, long a major barrier to infrastructure development. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Joritun Openg says the state's progress must be driven by science and engineering as it adapts to the growing realities of global climate change.
Sarawak, we review our fundamental laws and we pass few strategic laws. One is the question of emission of carbon gas houses. Number two is preservation of our forests and amended forests as a form of carbon sink. Number three is, of course, for us to provide the basic infrastructure in order to realize what we want to be. And of course, the important thing is the citizens themselves. They must be aware of what's going on and at the same time to participate in this transformation program.
At the 2026 International Unimass Engineering Conference today, Abang Johari also said years of investment in renewable energy are now paying off with clear results on the ground. He adds that these green energy efforts are helping shield key sectors, including agriculture, from the impact of the Middle East conflict.
We implemented what we call the solar power in this area under our policy called SARES, Sarawak Rural Electricity Program. So what happened? When hummus is a problem, you don't have the crude oil, diesel prices come up, our longhouses are not affected because they got 24-hour supply of power through solar membrane. In other words, that is innovation. We decided 6 years ago, now we are not affected by what happened to Iran, US and Israel. Otherwise, we got problem now to face the challenges by the rural people through the increase in price of diesel. And we are fortunate in terms of energy. We have multi sources of energy. One is our hydro plant from our hydro, which is basically water.
A Kuching man accused of sexually assaulting a 7-year-old girl is undergoing a mandatory psychiatric evaluation. The Sessions Court ordered the 25-year-old to be sent to Sentosa Hospital for a 30-day observation period to determine if he is fit to stand trial. The accused is charged with touching the young child for sexual purposes at a residence in Kuching on April 12.
The prosecution requested the mental assessment under the Criminal Procedure Code before proceeding with the case. Under the 2017 Sexual Offences Against Children Act, the offence carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and caning. The court has denied bail and the accused is currently held at the Padawan Police Headquarters. The case is set for mention on May 28, pending the submission of the psychiatric report.
U.S. gas prices are hitting new highs tonight as the prospect of a peace deal with Iran fades. Sources indicate President Trump is unlikely to accept Tehran's latest proposal to end the conflict. The deadlock is triggering fresh uncertainty across global energy markets and intensifying voices of criticism from international allies. The standoff comes as the Israeli military orders new evacuations in Lebanon, citing ceasefire violations. For more details, we have Yusuf Shukri on the case.
Thank you, Razi. Now, President Donald Trump is signaling he will reject Iran's newest overture to end the ongoing war. The Iranian proposal offers to reopen the strategic Strait of Hormuz, but delays negotiations on its nuclear program. White House sources indicate this is a non-starter as Washington demands a total cessation of uranium enrichment. Experts warn the Trump administration is relying on a naval blockade to force a surrender. However, analysts suggest this tactic has previously resulted in Tehran hardening its diplomatic position. The diplomatic stalemate is causing immediate pain at American gas pumps. National average prices jumped 6 cents today to $4.18 per gallon. In California, prices are now approaching the $6 mark. Oil futures gained 3% on Tuesday, reaching $111 a barrel. Wholesale gasoline inventories in the U.S. have fallen below 230 million barrels. Market analyst Andy Lipow predicts national averages could climb to $4.30 within the next 10 days. Meanwhile, energy giant BP reports profits have more than doubled due to market volatility. On the humanitarian front, the Israeli military is ordering residents in more than a dozen Lebanese villages to evacuate northward. The IDF states the forceful action is necessary following Hezbollah's violations of the recent ceasefire. The Lebanese Ministry of Health reports 14 civilians were killed on Sunday alone. Now, despite the truce, both sides continue to exchange fire while trading accusations of breaking the agreement. In Iran, the conflict has already pushed millions into poverty due to lost work. Diplomatic tensions are also rising between the U.S. and its European allies. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says Washington is being humiliated by Tehran in its attempts to exit the war. Meanwhile, Russia is strengthening ties with Iran's leadership. President Vladimir Putin confirmed receiving a message from Iran's new supreme leader during a meeting with Foreign Minister Araghchi. Moscow continues to provide intelligence support to Tehran and has offered to store enriched uranium. The Kremlin may also back Iranian efforts to charge tolls in the Strait of Hormuz at the UN Security Council. Now, that's all the latest for now. We'll continue to monitor developments. Back to you, Razi.
Thanks, Yusuf. Now, nearly 60 days into the conflict in West Asia, dozens of commercial vessels remain stranded in the Strait of Hormuz as uncertainty and security concerns continue to disrupt one of the world's busiest shipping routes. This next report, courtesy of RT International, brings exclusive live visuals and first-hand accounts from aboard one of the tankers still anchored at sea, as crews wait anxiously for safe passage.
Well, it's been almost 55 days now here in conflict zone. Ever since the war started, we are stuck here, and as we hear that 40 ships have passed from Iran to the outside Hormuz, that could be a little I don't know how genuine is that news. I cannot verify that, and there have been many attacks as well in past few days. We have noticed a few attacks were there.
I would love to know what you can see from where you are now. It looks like you're not on the bridge. I can't really tell. Do you have a window, perhaps, that you could show your computer through and give us an idea of what you're seeing right there?
Yes, so there is a window behind me. I can show you around, but we are just stationed. We are anchored on my ship, and there are ships around us. See, you can see.
Aha. Oh, fantastic. So there we are. That's your enormous tanker sitting there for 55 days, and we can see, these are live pictures right now exclusively from your computer showing us off your ship the other tankers that are still waiting to pass. Captain Kapoor, I'm so grateful that you picked up your computer to show us what you're seeing through your window there. But what about the stories of mines being positioned in the Strait of Hormuz? The U.S. says it's working to disarm them right now. Have you seen any sign of such activity?
We heard that there are so many mines planted, and there have been, I think, many attempts to clear them as well, but nothing is concrete.
Police in Yogyakarta have detained 13 people following allegations of severe child abuse and neglect at a local daycare center. The crackdown comes after shocking CCTV footage surfaced online, showing infants bound with rags while lying on the floor. Police raided the Little Aresha daycare on Friday after a former employee raised the alarm. Inside, investigators found 20 children crammed into a single 9-square-meter room. City Police Chief Ivaguna Pandia says the 13 suspects in custody include 11 carers, the headmaster, and the foundation head. Police say the suspect admitted to tying up the children to prevent them from disturbing others. They claimed the facility was understaffed and lacked the resources to properly clothe or care for the 100 children enrolled. Of those children, authorities believe more than half were subjected to maltreatment. The daycare has been shuttered, and the suspects face up to 5 years in prison under national child protection laws. Police indicate that more charges are likely as the probe continues. Now back home in Malaysia, the Madani government remains stable despite an ongoing political standoff in Negeri Sembilan. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim is brushing off concerns over the impact of the leadership crisis, which has pitted coalition partners Pakatan Harapan and Barisan Nasional against each other at the state level. He assures that the turmoil in Seremban will not trigger any broader fallout for the central government in Kuala Lumpur. Speaking to reporters today, Anwar dismissed concerns that the federal administration could be jeopardized by the recent developments.
Tidak bangkit implikasi lain. Keputusan mereka setakat ini dengan titah tuanku saya dengar semalam, kerajaan negeri harus berjalan seperti biasa sehingga ada keperluan untuk membawa apa-apa perubahan. Setakat ini saya telah minta Menteri Besar jalan seperti biasa dan proses undang-undang tidak menghalang.
The crisis escalated on Monday after all BN state assemblymen in Negeri Sembilan declared a loss of confidence in Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Aminuddin Harun. The group claims they now hold a simple majority to form a new government with the support of 5 Perikatan Nasional assemblymen. In response to the uncertainty, the Prime Minister says the state administration must continue to operate as usual. The Prime Minister also revealed he was scheduled to meet with Deputy Premier and BN Chairman Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zaid Hamidi earlier today to address the standoff. At the same time, Anwar dismissed calls for the dissolution of the State Assembly, citing a direct decree from the ruler of Negeri Sembilan. He adds that he is upholding the decree of Tuanku Muhriz, which directs Aminuddin Harun to remain in office until all outstanding issues are resolved. Malaysia should look to Africa as its next trade and investment frontier as diversification into emerging markets becomes increasingly important amid global uncertainty. And this is according to Pemandu Associates Joint Managing Director and Partner Aida Azmi. She said Malaysia's direct investments abroad currently stand at about 660 billion ringgit, with most concentrated in established markets such as ASEAN, the US, and China. While this is sufficient, such concentration also creates risks.
These various factors, she adds, makes Africa a strategic option for diversification and long-term growth. With a population of more than 1.4 billion people and a combined GDP exceeding $3 trillion, offers strong long-term potential, with its population projected to reach 2.5 billion by 2050. She says investors should not treat Africa as a single market, noting that the continent comprises 54 countries, each with different economic dynamics, opportunities, and regulatory environments. Among the promising regions, she cited East Africa as one of the fastest growing areas, recording real GDP growth of between 6 and 8%, above the global average of about 3%. Additionally, Aida states Malaysian businesses could leverage the country's own development experience in industrialization, urbanization, and economic transformation to tap opportunities in African markets.
Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news, and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, world on your screen, anytime, anywhere. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Razi Ahmad. Thank you for watching and have a good night.